house. What's going on, Bills Mafia? It's your man, Rev, and we are back at it for another edition of the Rated Rev Show, and we are live in direct, baby. Listen, the Buffalo Bills lose in frustrating fashion to the Miami Dolphins. Got their butts tore all the way up, 30-13. And they are now 6-3 in second place in the AFC East, with the New England Patriots firmly in control of the division. Listen, I don't know if too many people thought this was going to happen. I know for one thing, I did not think the Bills would lose this game. Now, is it possible? Yeah, of course, anything is possible. It's the NFL. It's a week-to-week league. So much parity going on in the NFL right now. So, of course, there's always a possibility. But when you are the Buffalo Bills, who just came off of a remarkable beatdown of the Kansas City Chiefs last week, to get yourself back in position, back in the conversation of being one of the top dogs in the NFL after a 2-game skid, knocking off the flaming hot Kansas City Chiefs, to follow that up with a complete, utter embarrassment of a game in Miami, who was 2-7, just got rid of their GM, shipped their pass rusher, Jalen Phillips, out of Miami. Almost was about to trade Jalen Waddle, but that didn't happen. I don't really think that was going to happen anyway. Head coach Mike McDaniel's job on the line. Injuries out the wazoo for the Dolphins defense. No Rasul Douglas. Missing other key players. And you do that? Jeez. I mean, I'm just at a loss for words. The Bills are not oblivious, or they're not, how can I say this? The Bills are prone to give you one of those games. Every now and again. Every now and again, they're prone to give you one of those games in the regular season. This is the third one. Not only is it the third one, but this is the loss like they have never taken since 2018. The Bills have never lost by this margin since 2018. They got their butts kicked by 17 points to the Miami Dolphins, a team that the Bills have owned in the Josh Allen era. Owned them. They fell in the trap. I mean, call it what you want. They fell in the trap. Maybe, you know, Chiefs fans are right. Maybe last week was, in fact, the Bills Super Bowl. Maybe it was. Because they show up to play against the Chiefs every year in the regular season. Every year. You wish they show up in the playoffs, but we can't even get there right now. And you would expect a team like the Bills to come into Miami, a division game, understanding the stakes. And let me just lay it out for you. Prior to this game, the Bills, obviously, 6-2. New England Patriots, 7-2. One game ahead of the Bills. If the Bills won and the Patriots lost to the who they play today? Shoot, I don't know. Forgot who they played. Oh, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If the Bills won today and the Patriots lost to the Bucs, guess what that meant for the Bills? They would regain first place in the AFC East. That was what was at stake today. The division was at stake, at least for right now. I'm not saying that, the Patriots wouldn't have been able to catch back up the remainder of the season. It's not what I'm saying. But you still want to regain the lead. And unless winning the division and getting the number one seed is no longer a goal of theirs. It sure as heck has been for years. Maybe now they don't care. Maybe it's just a week-to-week thing for them, and you can't, hey, you can't win them all. You win some, you lose some. Oh, well, we lost. It's at the end of the world. We'll get her next time, guys. Next week, there's always another game next week. Until there isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, there's always a game next week. Until there isn't. And the Bills can ill afford to have many more of these whoopsie games against inferior teams. Now, I understand. Look, I understand this is a division game. And these division games, it's hard to determine how they're going to go. But forget all that, man. When you are the superior team, there's an expectation for you to actually perform like you are the superior team. And today, the Bills were not the superior team. They looked completely out of sorts. They looked like they wanted no parts of this game. Like they were exhausted. Like they exhausted every ounce of energy last week against the Chiefs, to where they just didn't have anything else left in the tank. Which is sad to even think, considering what? They have what? How many more games now? 7 more games left. Plus postseason. That's if they make it. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Complete, utter domination by the Dolphins. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Looking at this stat line, if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the numbers, Josh Allen, 28 for 40, 306 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You would think they won the game until you really got into the meat of the stats, of the numbers. And that's what really is frustrating. Tua Tagovailoa, 15 of 21, 173 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He throws 2 picks, 2 of them, 2 interceptions. And what do the Bills do? Absolutely nothing with any of them. The Bills go 3 quarters without scoring a single point. When is the last time that has happened? I honestly cannot even remember the last time that's happened. I'm sitting here watching the game, as many of you were, and I'm looking at first quarter, 7-0. Second quarter, 16-0. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The Bills are down to the Dolphins 16-0. Okay. It's all right. They'll turn it around here shortly. Before halftime, they'll get on the board. They'll score a touchdown. Nothing. Third quarter rolls around. Nothing. Still 16-0. Miami doesn't score in third either. Nobody scores in the third quarter. It's still a two-possession game. Assuming the Bills, got 2-point conversions on both scoring drives. They didn't do anything. Fourth quarter. Excuse me. The Bills finally get on the board. Finally. And what they do? They missed the 2-point conversion. And then it was just downhill from there. The offense looked absolutely broken. Broken. From a jump. From the absolute jump. And speaking, let's just talk about the offense for a second. Can we do that, please? Let's talk about this offense and whether or not there are some serious issues here. Because I really don't know what to make of this, but it's something that's worth talking about. So let's talk about Josh Allen and Joe Brady. And the reason why I'm bringing up Josh Allen is because there's a contingency of Buffalo Bills fans out there who think that Josh is untouchable. Like he could do no wrong. Well, I got news for you. Josh has played poorly for a number of games this year. And he played poorly today. I don't care what the stats say. Because, again, if you weren't watching the game and you just look at the numbers, 28 for 40, 306 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 98.5 passer rating, you would think that, hey, Josh looked good. And wrong. Wrong. That's the end of the game. Garbage time stats right there. He was awful all game. Awful. Absolutely awful. And there are moments in the game where I'm sitting here looking at, like, Josh, there's a receiver open right there. Throw the ball. Throw it. Let it go. What are you doing? Why are you running? He escapes the pocket. There was one play in particular, I can't remember exactly when it was, where Keon Coleman was actually open in this particular play. I think he ran an in cut. I think he was on the bottom of the screen. And I'm looking, I'm like, there he is. Josh scrambles. Doesn't even look his way. Scrambles. Runs to the sideline like he always does. Looking for a last-minute miracle toss. Heaves it. Incomplete. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He is not trusting these wide receivers at all. Especially not Keon Coleman. Now, there are times when he is open, but Josh is just not pulling the trigger. Maybe he doesn't like it. Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been like a 4-yard gain, but it would have been something to at least keep the offense on the field, keep the chains moving. Josh didn't do it. He didn't do it. He was bad. And then Joe Brady. This offense is becoming way too predictable. How many times could you count watching this game when you said, oh, that's going to be a wide receiver screen? Yeah, that's going to be a screen. Here it is. Oh, sure enough, there it is. I saw a screen. Everybody knew it was a screen coming. And then not only was it a screen, it was a completely inaccurate pass by Josh Allen to Shaquille Shakir. Whenever he's throwing these wide receiver screens, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but Josh is throwing it so far ahead of him. It's awful. His ball placement in these passes is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So there's that. You've got that to deal with. But then you've got Joe Brady calling the same plays over and over and over and over again. For crying out loud, man. Like what is this? What's going on? If it seems like if the Bills can't get anything going in the run game, it's a wrap. Forget it. Offense is dead in the water. Stall, completely done. Finished. They can't get anything going. So maybe instead of talking about Josh Allen, the former MVP, maybe the true MVP of this offense is James Cook and not number 17. Maybe the true MVP of this offense wears number 4. Because that's what it looks like to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like James Cook is a real MVP of this offense. Because unless he gets going, the offense can't do anything. Forget the whole idea that the Bills have, these this stable of running backs and Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. They're nothing. And this offense without James Cook is a train wreck. Complete disaster. Complete disaster. James Cook on the ground today. Back at home in Miami, 13 carries, 53 yards, 4.1 average, no touchdowns. Miami Dolphins knew what was up. They knew it. Stop James Cook. And I don't care what they did last week against the Chiefs. We'll shut this passing game down because we have no respect for Keon Coleman and none of these passing weapons outside of Dalton Kincaid, who, guess what? He goes down with an injury. For crying out loud, man. Like this team, they can't seem to get ahead for nothing. They get a guy back from injury, another one gets injured. They get that person back from injury, another person gets injured. I mean, this is becoming really bad. Sean McDermott had mentioned it today in his press conference about having to really take a serious look at why so many injuries are popping up, especially soft tissue injuries, and not just for this year, but he mentioned it's been like this for several years, and they got to figure it out now. So I don't know if it's strength and conditioning. I don't know what it is, but they got to figure it out because guys are dropping like flies, and they're not just out for a game or two. A lot of these guys are out for the rest of the year. It's bad. But I mean, you can't blame injuries, right? You can't make excuses for injuries. Everybody's got them. It's a virtual certainty in this in this league. You have to be able to overcome them. But for some reason, this version of the Bills can't overcome it. They can't. Offense was bad. Joe Brady is getting on my nerves, man. He really is. I mean, last week we seen him really just kind of dip into the bag. We saw plays with Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore. Did we get any of that today? No. We got an Elijah Moore in around that went for freaking nothing. Raise your hand if you didn't see that coming. I'm at the point now to where I almost hope he gets a head coaching job. I really do. Because the Bills need to do something differently. Because I get this 13 personnel thing and this desire to control the game, which that's a Sean McDermott thing. He wants to control the game. Means he wants to play physical, run the ball, chew the clock, control the game. That's his style of football. But though the Bills are one of the top teams rushing this year, you're hurting your quarterback with that philosophy. You really are. There has to be some level of balance. But when I look at it, I'm like, what else can they do? Honestly, if we're being honest, what else can they do? How can we expect there to really be more of a balanced approach offensively if they don't have the weapons outside of James Cook? And that's where I'm at right now. It was painstakingly evident today. Again, here's the offense in a nutshell. Josh Allen, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. That's it. Sometimes Khalil Shakir on a wide receiver screen if he can, get some yards after the catch. That's it. That's really all he's been good for, really. Some wide receiver screens, bubble screen. That's it. It's like the brother can't run any other route. But when it comes to a consistent moving a chain mover, a consistent chain mover, that's Dalton Kincaid. And unfortunately, that guy's gone. Injures his hamstring. So sad. Right? Kincaid goes out with a hamstring injury. So now you're like, oh, man, here we go. Here we go. Now, what are they going to do now? Dawson Knox? I mean, he went 3 for 37 today, averaged a little over 12 yards per reception. And Jackson Hawes, I mean, he had one catch, 26 yards for a touchdown late in the game. Game is already well over with then. They have nobody, none. And this is where I'm putting so much of the blame on Brandon Beane. Like, he has to take some heat. You know what? I was about to kind of give him a pass by that ridiculous report that came out this morning by Tom Pelissero. How convenient, right? That report that came out earlier this morning by Tom Pelissero stating that the Buffalo Bills were in on defensive tackle Quinnen Williams from the Jets and wide receiver Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins and the trade deadline. And that reports say that the Bills had the highest bid or offer on the table for Jalen Waddle. That was a 2027 first-round pick and a 2026 third-round pick, to which the Dolphins obviously declined because they wanted a higher 2026 pick. Brandon Beane wasn't willing to part with that higher pick. So Jalen Waddle stays with the Dolphins, and he comes out and he torches the Bills as if to say, see what you missed out on? That's exactly what happened. And Jalen Waddle came out and was like, oh, I'm not worth sweetening the pot to get me out of here? Okay, let me show you what you're missing out on. I'll just go 84 yards. I'll just score a touchdown. I'll just really just cook your DBs all day long. Because that was really the extent of the Dolphins passing game. It was only Jalen Waddle. That was it. Between Jalen Waddle and a bit of Devon Achane, I mean, that was it. That was the game. Really, that was all their offense. But we saw exactly what the Bills need. But that player was on another team in Jalen Waddle. And so I was willing to kind of give Beane a pass. I was going to be like, oh, well, maybe, Beane, hey, you know what? He did try. But, man, forget all that. Forget that. Because, look, at the end of the day, this is what it's about for me. You have to be a fool to think that the Miami Dolphins, your own division, your divisional rivals, are going to give you their best player on offense. Are you serious? You seriously thought, while you spent all that time, you seriously thought Brandon Beane, look at me here. that the Miami Dolphins were going to trade you their best weapon on offense. You got to be kidding me, man. They're 2-7. Yeah. They're 2-7. And many would have thought that they would have been, selling the farm. And though they might, to a degree, have been, they're not gonna. No team in the right mind, especially a division team, is going to help their division rival get better. That's ludicrous. So it's no surprise that the Dolphins didn't do it. None whatsoever. Not only did they decline, but the Jets declined. They're like, nah, I'm not giving you Quinnen Williams. Now, obviously, the Bills weren't going to beat the Cowboys' offer. But like, this is what I'm talking about. Like being like that was foolish. And then on top of that, here's the other point. He was so arrogant in thinking that this wide receiver room had no issues. Like, he was content with this room. Said it was better than last year's. Went on WGR. Had a complete crash out. Blasted Jeremy White. Talking about, you guys know what it is. I'm not going to cuss. All y'all do was blankety blank about receiver. That's all y'all do was blankety blank about receiver. That's what the man said. Said it with his chest. Felt good about it, too. Oh, yeah, our wide receiver room. Yeah, we're good. I don't know why y'all always talking about receiver. Look at the offense. Look at what we do. Look at what we did last year. Yada, yada, yada. Woo-woo. But then, all of a sudden, at the trade deadline, you want to put out this report. Tom Pelissero reports the Bills were, in fact, after Jalen Waddle. And Brandon Beane was willing to give a first-round pick and a third-round pick to acquire him. Are you kidding me? Like, which one is it, Beane? Which one? Are you sold? Are you the guy who was completely sold and arrogant on this wide receiver room? Or are you the guy who knows that this wide receiver room ain't worth a flip and needs desperate attention? It looks like you're the guy who believes what everybody else knew. This wide receiver room ain't it. It has to be one of the worst rooms in the NFL. Hands down. Top to bottom. Worst. You can sit there and talk about how good they were last year, how good the passing offense was, or how good the offense was in general last year. All you want. Everybody eats, yada, yada, yada. Nobody cares about that. That was last year, my man. You think teams weren't watching film over the summer, in the offseason, looking at how to stop that? You think they weren't watching with the moves you guys made in free agency? You add Josh Palmer. Okay, I like Josh. He's injured. He ain't here. You had Elijah Moore. Curtis Samuel ain't did nothing. Keon Coleman is an absolute joke. Khalil Shakir can't do nothing outside of 5 yards. At that, his if it ain't at the line of scrimmage, you're not going to see the brother running, doing anything. If you do see him running beyond the line of scrimmage, he's jogging out there. What kind of a route requires you to jog? This is an embarrassment of weapons, and not in a good way. But you want to trot this room out week after week when you have a former MVP quarterback. MVP quarterback, Josh. Last year, a once in a generation type of a talent who does nothing but break NFL records. You have had him for 8 years. And the only thing you've done noteworthy when it comes to giving him weapons, true weapons, happened 5 years ago when you traded for Stephon Diggs. That was it. What have you done since? It's no wonder Diggs won it out. Heck, if I was him, I would have won it out too. Because I'm looking at this organization and I just don't know how serious you are about winning at all. You can talk all you want to talk about having sustained success this and sustained success that. I don't care about any of that. What are you willing to do to win it all? Sometimes you have to be willing to sell the farm, go all out. When your window is there, you have to capitalize when that window is open. That means you do whatever it takes. Not looking ahead saying, oh, well, if we do this, then, and yeah, we may get there, but we may not. And then, it can affect our long-term success. Man, forget that. You've got Josh Allen. You have to do something aggressive. And you've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I don't care about what you try to do, reportedly, with Jalen Waddle. What the world? Why didn't you do that in the first place? And then why'd you go on WGR and act like the wide receiver room was all that? And all we doing is just complaining about the room. Then a few months later, you're going to try. It's stupid. That's what it is. It's stupid. It's ludicrous. It makes no sense. And we, as a fan base, we're just supposed to accept that. Be like, oh, it's all right. Good job, Bean. You actually did try to do something. Well, buddy, I guess you'll get her next time, right? That's okay. No, he put that out there so that way he can hopefully try to get some of this heat off his back. But what we need to do is put that heat right back on his tail, man. We can't accept that nonsense. It's ridiculous. He's had ample opportunity to add weapons to this offense. When you have Josh Allen like that, you have to do something. What has he done? He hadn't done nothing in the draft. Jeez, man, like this is so frustrating. And that's exactly what this game looked like. Frustrating. Frustrating. Completely frustrating. The offense was nothing. And I'm confused. Like, is this team the team of last week, or was that just an aberration? Like, did they just overperform last week? But really, this is who they truly are? Is this team the team that we've seen today and against the Patriots and against the Falcons and really against, the other games too, except for the Ravens? Was the offense that's just kind of ain't all that. You let me know how you feel about it. Because for me, I'm at my wit's end. Josh is looking bad. But then when you look at it, like, who's getting open? Sean McDermott said in the press conference, the post-game presser, Sean McDermott said, he mentioned the lack of wide receivers getting open. That's what he said. And he didn't even have to look at the tape. Excuse me while I put on some Bliss decks. He didn't even have to look at the tape. He knew it, sitting on the sideline. Like, man, guys ain't getting open. It's a problem. You know what else I find interesting? Josh Allen at the podium today. a question was asked, and I'm paraphrasing. They were asking about Keon Coleman and about, I guess his performance, or if he's confident in Keon Coleman and what he's been doing and all that kind of stuff. And Josh paused for a few seconds. And he had to think about it. And it was almost as if he was looking for the corporate answer. But he really, in his heart of hearts, wanted to say the truth. But he said something to the effect of, well, he got one today. And so today he did his job, or something to that effect. Josh is the type of player, type of guy who's really not going to put anybody under the bus. He's not going to blast anybody, which at times I think he needs to. He's the leader of this franchise. This franchise moves at his pace. This franchise goes where he goes. I think there's a lot of times where he's not utilizing the power that he does have. But today, I've never, to my recollection, heard him say something like that about a player, where he paused and then said, well, he got one today, and he did his job today, so to speak. And Keon Coleman today, 3 receptions on 8 targets. 3 receptions on 8 targets, 46 yards, and a touchdown. People have been saying that Keon Coleman is not him. He is exactly who so many draftniks and people in the know said he was coming out of Florida State. He's a big body receiver, has athleticism, but he's slow and cannot separate at the college level. And if he could not separate on a consistent basis at the collegiate level, though he played at FSU, what made anybody think, especially Brandon Beane and that front office, that scouting department, and Josh Allen for that matter, think that he was going to be able to have success at the pro level, where cornerbacks are better? This is the elite of the elites. And they're going to trot him out there at the boundary as an XY receiver, like he's Des Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Drake London of today. Just because he's 6'4", 220. Oh, he had the fastest gauntlet time at the NFL Combine. Though he ran a freaking 4.6 40, something like that. Please. He's not that type of brother. He's not. And people say, oh, well, look at what he did today. That one touchdown where he finally went up and got one. It's a 50-50 ball. He's a 50-50 guy. Okay, well, is he really 50-50? Let's see, 8 targets, 3 receptions. Yeah, that's about 50-50, all right. But that reception that he caught, where he caught that touchdown, who was it on? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was like their 3rd string cornerback. 3rd string. Because Rasul Douglas was out and somebody else was out. They're playing backups at cornerback. The Miami Dolphins were playing backups at cornerback, and the Bills wide receivers still could not get open against backups. What does that tell you? And the only time Keon Coleman was able to break loose and come down with one of those big-time finger quote 50-50 balls was when he was playing against a 3rd string cornerback. This is a travesty of epic proportions by Brandon Beane. The way he has completely mishandled, mismanaged this entire offensive roster, especially at the wide receiver position, is a fireable offense, in my opinion. I do not trust this man one bit to fix this. He has had Joshua Patrick Allen for 8 years. He has continued to give contracts to subpar players. He has ruined the cap situation of this team. And it makes you wonder if there is ever going to be a true window of opportunity for this Bills team to get to a Super Bowl, let alone win one, under this current front office. Considering the damage that's been done to the cap and the bad contracts after bad contracts that we see. This whole entire offseason was all about what? Extending our own guys. Extending our own guys. All right, well, let's talk about the own guys that you extended. Greg Rousseau, he's all right. He's a good run-stopping defensive end. I'll give you that one. Christian Benford, at the time, myself included, like Christian Benford needed to be signed. I'm like, yo, we got to extend him. But now this year, this guy, he just completely vanishes off the map. Has one of those scratch your head seasons. You know, one of those typical seasons that you see happening to guys after they performed or overperformed in a contract year and they get the contract and they kind of coast a little bit. Yeah, that's what he's looking like. Khalil Shakir. This is what he did this offseason. But then the guy who's really been the engine of the offense, you're at a stalemate with him all offseason. And then you finally cough it up. Like his philosophy of draft, develop, extend sounds good in theory. But in practice, not so good. Because it's almost as if he feels the need to sign his own players when they come up for extension, even if they don't warrant said extension. So what he does in his eyes is he gives them below market deals to make it seem like, oh man, he just got a steal of a deal on that one. But really the guys are just subpar anyway. He just extended them. So instead of moving on from subpar players and paying the guys who are elite, he just content with just signing his own guys just for the sake of signing them. And he's done that ever since he's been the GM here. And I'm ready for something different. I really am. Have I given up on this year? I'm right there. I'm right there, man. Like, I let this team reel me back in after last week because I was like, oh, there it is. There they are. Only for them to come out this week and look like crap. Like they have never been there before. And I'm concerned because they're inconsistent. They're up and down, up and down, up and down. Highly inconsistent. On top of the fact that they are being obliterated by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They have countless number of players who are on IR right now. And the defense today, for the most part, held their own. They held their own. I mean, they kept the Miami Dolphins to 16 points for 3/4 of the game. 16 points for 3/4. I would consider that them doing their job, considering who they have missing today. Of course, no Ed Oliver, no Michael Hoyt. Then you have no Taron Johnson and no AJ Epinesa, so forth and so on. They limited this team to 16 points through the third quarter. Fourth quarter, it was 16-0. Yet the offense had 3 quarters to score, and they did abso-freaking-lutely nothing. So I'm not faulting the defense. I'm not. Ever since Sean McDermott has taken over the reins of the defense, they've been playing pretty well. They have. It's the offense that's the problem. And it's Joe Brady, Josh Allen, Brandon Beane, who is giving them no talent. And I think right now they're stuck. They have a Keon Coleman problem because this brother is just not it, but they're stuck with him. They're stuck. They needed to go ahead and just cut their ties, cut their losses right now. I know that's not many people are like, yo, you can't give up on players so soon. But look, you can see it. 2 years in, you can see it, man. What is Keon really? Come on now. He's not that guy. And cut their losses. So if Brandon Beane in this offseason, this is assuming he still has a job. But if he's not extremely aggressive in the draft or in free agency at securing a wide receiver and revamping this entire wide receiver room, then I'm done with him. I really am. And quite frankly, I'm ready for him to go right now, to be honest. I mean, if I'm being honest, he needs – I just don't trust the brother no more. I don't. I do not trust him. He's extremely arrogant, and he has gotten way too comfortable in that seat of his at One Bills Drive. Way too comfortable. You got Josh Allen carrying this franchise for years, and you've done nothing. It took you years to finally build him an offensive line, to which you admitted that was wrong. But now it's taking you years to admit that you haven't really given him much of nothing in the wide receiver room outside of Stephon Diggs. I mean, I give it to you back in 19 or 20, when you got Cole Beasley and John Brown. Then 2020, then you added that Diggs, but you didn't forecast in the future because those guys were in their late 20s, except for Diggs. You didn't forecast. Should have been drafting a wide receiver every year. High in the draft. Once Diggs was gone, you did nothing. You had the nerve to trot out Gabe Davis as if he was going to be the wide receiver one that year. And it was so funny. Now he's back. We're seeing clips of him in practice looking like he's slow as molasses. And people are like, Gabe Davis, the savior of the offense. Jeez. Like, this is where we've gotten to. Where we're waiting for Gabe Davis to come and save the day on offense. Please, man. Please. He wasn't him when Diggs was gone. He left, got the bag in Jacksonville. He did dilly squat in Jacksonville. Gets injured. We pick him up. He's on a practice squad. And we think that, we need to go ahead and call him up. And he's going to play. He's going to be the lightning or the match that this offense needs. Seriously, like he hasn't been him. He hasn't been that his entire career. And the only reason why he was as good as he was because of Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was him. Stephon Diggs was getting all the attention. Was left Gabe Davis open a lot. Anyway. The trade deadline is come and gone. There is no fixing this offense right now. There is none. There's not a guy you can add to this offense right now that's going to help them. They're done. It is what it is. They're going to have to trot this mess out every week. And it's sad that Joshua Palmer has been injured. Hopefully he can come back next week. Maybe he can. She tried to give it a go today. Didn't work out. So maybe another week. And then we'll see what he does next week against the Buccaneers. But I'm looking at this standings right now. And if the playoffs were to start right now, the Bills are the 6th seed behind the Colts, who just look unbeatable right now in the AFC. The Broncos, who are a weird but week 8-2. The New England Patriots, who are 8-2. Steelers are 5-3. Chargers 6-3. Bills, there you are, 6-3. And then the Jags at 5-4, and the Chiefs are right there at the eighth spot, 5-4. So it's not a foregone conclusion that the Bills are going to make the playoffs. They've got a ways to go to catch New England. And you can't keep on dropping division games like this. The Bills are 2-2 in the division. Patriots are 2-0. So the Bills are 2 games back from the Patriots overall. 2 games back in the division, and the Patriots have the tiebreaker. It's a wrap. You might as well just forget the regulars. I mean, might as well just forget the AFC East. Because unless the Bills go on a run and the Patriots, lose a game or 2 here and there, there's no way the Bills are going to get the division. So we can expect the Bills, if they make it, to be a 5, 6, or 7 seed in the playoffs. The only good thing they have going on for them right now is that they have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. That's it. So if the Bills and the Chiefs end up winning and ending with the same record, the Bills have the tiebreaker over them. That's it. But I'm looking at who this team has on the horizon. And I hate to be that guy, that Debbie Downer guy, but I just don't see any hope with this team this year. I really don't. And sadly to say, I just don't know if I see it with this regime. I like Sean McDermott. I do like him. I think they need a new GM. That's just me. I would rather them fire Brandon Beane and get a new GM in there who's aggressive and understands what they have in that building, and Josh Allen, who is going to be 30 years old. I need a GM who understands that hey, we've got Josh Allen who's going to be 30. He's kind of, peaked, and he may be, this is almost the back end of his career now. We need to be aggressive if we want to capitalize on this window. And that's my thing. Like, I don't think Brandon Beane feels that. If he does, it's too late. It's always late. It's late, man. And I'm looking at the Bills who they have coming up on the schedule, man. I mean, they got the Bucs at home. Is that a win? Is that a lock for the Bills? I mean, yeah, the Bucs just lost to the Patriots, but the Patriots are beating everybody right now. They're 8-2. I'm looking at Baker Mayfield and that team. I don't think the Bills can beat them. Maybe they can. I mean, Jafango comes in here. What's going on, brother? Yo, he says, I hate to beat Tampa. And the Bills are gonna kind of hit the gas hard. Well, maybe. They might. Fins up. Shout out, man. All right. Congratulations. Fins got the win. They were the better team today. I mean, they played better. They wanted it. I thought they were going to fall over. They didn't. So it shows that they're still fighting for their head coach, which is commendable. But the Bills, they got the Buccaneers coming up. And then they go on the road back-to-back They go to Houston to play the Texans, who's a sneaky good team. You really can't look at their record. That defense flies all over the place. We know what happened last year. I think the Bills played them last year. Yeah, it was last year with Diggs, I think. That defense, man, can generate some pressure. So I'm not looking at that. I'm not feeling too good with that game. So I'm already looking at not feeling good against the Bucs at home. Then you got a road matchup against the Texans, and then you got to go all the way back to Pittsburgh, and you're gonna play the Steelers. Then you got Aaron Rodgers who's playing well, DK Metcalf, running game Jalen Warren. Like that's a tough game. I don't necessarily feel good about that one. And the Bills are home against the Bengals with Joe Flacco, who have to put up like 40+ points just to stay in the game because the defense is so bad. So maybe the Bills, maybe they win a shootout in that game. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the Bengals defense is so bad. But the Bills offense is bad too. Like, I don't care. Forget the numbers, right? Forget the numbers. Just look at the tape. Look at the film. Look at the wide receivers. They're not good. They're not good. They're prone to make the Bengals defense look like all pros. And do you think like our defense is going to really stop Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and them boys? It's going to be a tall task. And then they go to New England, hopefully to, redeem themselves against the Patriots. Then it's the Browns, one of the worst teams in football, but they got a defense. And then the friggin' Eagles, man, at home, and then the Jets. Like, if I were to go through it right now, the way I'm feeling right now, let's look at it. Bills are currently 6-3. Home against the Bucs, loss. On the road against the Texans. We don't know if Stroud's going to play or not, but still, that defense, I don't like it. I think the Texans win. That's another loss. Then they go back to the East Coast on the road to Pittsburgh. Do they beat them? No, loss. I don't think they figured it out offensively. Then they go to then they're home against the Bengals. Home against Cincinnati. Let's just say the Bills win. I'll give them a W there. But right now we're looking at 3 more losses. So there's 6-6, 7-6. 7-6 after the Bengals game. By now they're probably in the hunt in the playoff race. Then they go to New England and play the Patriots, who are probably well ahead of them right now in the AFC East. Do the Bills beat them? Let's say the Bills win 8-6. Go to Cleveland. Do they beat the Browns? We'll say they beat the Browns 9-6. At home against the Eagles, they lose 9-7. At home against the Jets, I think that game right there is going to determine whether or not they get in the playoffs or not. 9-7 entering that final game at home against the Jets. And you think the Jets won't be willing to play spoiler to knock them out of the playoffs? They're going to be amped up, man. Say what you want about them selling the farm and getting rid of players, but they on defense, they got rid of Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams, but offensively, they got Garrett Wilson and added Adonai Mitchell, and they still got Breece Hall. I think for sure if it's 9-7 Buffalo Bills going against the Jets, even though it's at home in Buffalo, that final game, the Jets are going to give them everything they have to knock them out. Because I think if that's the case, that's the scenario we're looking at. It's win and in. Lose and you're going home. Imagine the Jets knock the Bills out. 9-8. The Bills 9-8. I think at that point, there's some serious conversations that need to be had about whether or not this regime needs to be fired or not. I'm telling you, man, like that's exactly how I think this is going to happen. I think they could find themselves in a win and in, lose and out scenario on the last game of the season. And they might find themselves in a dogfight at home against the Jets, who are looking to knock them out, send them packing. And I think it's possible. I think it's quite possible, man, for the Jets to knock them out. And the Bills end the season 9-8. Could not overcome these injuries on defense. They couldn't overcome the lack of weapons on offense. Joe Brady's out. He's gone. He's not coming back. He's going for a head coaching job. What's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills at that point? Everybody's going to be gunning for him. Brandon Beane needs to go. They need to fire Sean McDermott. All of that is going to happen if the Bills miss the postseason. And to me, I think it is probably going to be the best thing for them. And I know that sounds sacrilegious, and I know a lot of Bills fans are probably going to blast me for it. But how many times can you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, yet expect different results? Like, that's insanity. You can't continue to do the same things and expect different results. It's not going to happen. We know what Brandon Beane is all about. I like Sean McDermott. I don't necessarily want to get rid of him. I think the guy that needs to go is the GM. He's the one who's constructed this roster. He's the one who's controlling it. He's the one who's bringing in these players in free agency and then drafting the guys like Kyer Elam in the first round, who's a bust. You're drafting guys like Boogie Basham back-to-back, in a year. I think that COVID year, after drafting Greg Rousseau in round 1, then he drafts Boogie Basham in round 2. Like, what is he doing? And then you're getting guys like Keon Coleman. You're trading with your arch nemesis in the Kansas City Chiefs. That should have been a fireable offense right there. I don't care. Many people will say, "Hey, man, it's just you can't approach it that way." They're just trying to get trade capital and blah 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 blah. What has that turned into? Like, you just don't make deals with the devil. You don't. And in your mind, Brandon Beane, you thought 2 years ago in the draft that it was a great idea to trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, giving them their weapon. And I'm not even here to say that that Xavier Worthy is all that, but you gave them their weapon in exchange for a third-round pick, and who that third-round pick turned into? Dwayne Carter? Where's Dwayne Carter right now? Yeah, he's on IR. He's a bottom-end rotational defensive tackle. And you had Ladd McConkey on the board that year. You passed him up. Probably because you're looking at Khalil Shakir and you're like, oh, we got two of the same type of players. Man, Shakir ain't even in the same atmosphere as Ladd McConkey is. No disrespect to Khalil, but that's just the truth. So you pass up on him. You trade your pick with the Chiefs, thinking this is just a great idea. And you trade down some more to select Keon Coleman. Jeez, man. And then you pound the table for him. A year later, after his rookie year, you get on local radio because you're just absolutely so tired of this conversation and this complaining about wide receiver. You go and you blast those brothers on WGR. You said it with your chest. You felt good about yourself. Only for word to come out that now at the trade deadline, oh, you were willing to trade a 27 first-round pick and a 26 third-round pick for Jalen Waddle. As if to think that your division rivals were going to give up their top weapon on offense. And you thought that was going to be good. Okay, a social media team, hey, at the deadline, go ahead and put out this graphic that says everybody eats. And then the game before, and then the day of the game, of the Miami Dolphins game, I'm going to go ahead and put out this report. I'm going to go ahead and tell Tom Pelissero and them to go ahead and put this report out that, hey, the Bills were in on Jalen Waddle, but they just wanted too much. You're freaking kidding me, man. You're kidding me. Like, fortunately for the Dolphins, they're smart enough not to trade their top player to a division rival. But you're not smart enough not to trade a valuable draft pick to the same team that's kicked your butt and knocked you out of every single postseason appearance for the past how many years now? This is foolishness. This is the stuff that Diggs was talking about. This is why Stephon Diggs got out of there. And I don't blame him one bit, man. And I'm just waiting for Josh Allen to grow something and say, you know what, man, enough is enough. I'm looking at my life right now. I'm 30 years old. I'm about to be 30 years old, and I'm dealing with the same garbage in this organization. Let me go over your head. Let me make a meeting with Terry Pegula, and let me put everything on the line. Look, if you don't fire this bum right now, I'm not stepping foot on this field again. I'm not doing it. Trade me. Either you get rid of him and give me somebody who's going to be aggressive and add some serious weapons to this team, somebody who is serious enough about this Super Bowl, bringing one to Buffalo and not just the lip service, or you can trade me right now. Like, I'm waiting for Josh to do that. Unfortunately, man, he's just not that kind. I don't think he has it in him. I think he just go out. He's just his company guy, man. He's going to keep on going out there every single week and getting before the media, putting it all on his shoulders. And I feel that at some point we're going to look up and Josh is going to retire. I mean, think about it. Man's 30. He's done everything he can do in his career outside of going to a Super Bowl. He's broken NFL record after NFL record after NFL record. Many would argue that if he were to retire right now, he's a shoo-in MVP, even without the hardware. You take that into consideration. Then you take into the fact that he's 30 years old. All right. Next year will be entering his plus 30, right, age. He's newly married. His wife has already told him that, Josh, you are so much more than a football player. Right? I mean, as any good wife should do, right? I mean, they're trying to help their husbands fulfill their potential. And you know, Josh has got to carry this weight on him, and he probably takes it home, and his wife is like, hey, he's like, yo, she's probably like, Josh, like, you're so much more than this. Like, don't beat yourself up. You're so much more than a football player. Like, I'm not saying she's a bad person. I think she's a great wife, doing what any good wife would do. But over the course of time, you got to be thinking that Josh, if he continues to step up to the plate and swing and swing and swing and swing and miss and miss and miss with the same organization, the same regime, I should say, at some point, we could be looking in 2 years. Josh retires early before the end of his contract. Personally, I don't think he makes it out of his contract right now. That has him going into 2029. I don't think Josh makes it to the end of that contract before he retires. That gives us another 3 years, maybe. And that depends on how he plays and how he feels. This organization has wasted 5 years of his prime, man. Like that, that's what they've done. They've done. and they don't understand their urgency. That's what's so frustrating to me. This loss is so much more than just them losing to the Dolphins. It's a culmination of all of the decisions that they've made, and now you're looking at another season where you have Josh virtually carrying this team again, and he can't do it. I don't care how great you are as an individual talent in the game of football, you're going to need help. And as great as Josh Allen is, and make no mistake about it, he's great. Future Hall of Famer in my book. He can't carry this team to a Super Bowl by himself. He hadn't done it yet in 8 years. And I'm not saying that this season is over, but it's getting there. You can call me a glass half full guy you want, but I'm just looking at what I've seen. And outside of some miracle and an extraordinary amount of luck, which could happen, this team is just not it. They're not, especially offensively. Defensively, they've turned it up a notch with Sean McDermott taking over. Oh, by the way, I expect Bobby Babbitt to move on next year. I do. If Sean McDermott takes over the defense, you might as well just get ready to pack your bags. We've seen what happened to the last coordinator that he had to take play calls over. What happened with Leslie Frazier? Frazier decided to, take a leave of absence, so to speak. Step away from the game when really it was just a mutual parting of ways when he had to take over play calling. Then he promotes his own guy who he's been grooming, and his own guy sucks. Then he takes over that. You can bet Babbitt's probably not going to be here next year. So there's going to be some coaching changes. I just think that people are going to be clamoring for Sean McDermott when really the person that needs to go is Brandon Beane. That's who I think needs to go. Jeff Angles comes in and says, the Jets will want to get that last win in the old stadium as well. Y'all schedule is kind of low-key tough. Yeah, it is. This end of the schedule, this is what I'm talking about here. So the Bills needed to be on the plus side of the ledger here. They don't need to have 3 losses. And people can say all they want to. There's only 3 losses, 6-3. Dude, come on, man. You can say all the Bills are spoiled. Bills fans are spoiled. Come on. This AFC is wide open this year. Wide open. You cannot afford to have these kind of losses. You can look at the Falcons loss and say, okay, that doesn't really hurt them because it's an out-of-conference loss. These 2 division losses against the Patriots and the Dolphins, those are killer losses. And then you supposedly strike at the trade deadline and you don't get anybody, which was to me was an admission that your offense is not good, specifically your wide receiver room, and you don't add anybody. So now how do you expect it to get any better? So now you're going to try the rest of the season with an offense, with a wide receiver room that you, Brandon Beane, admittedly, through your attempts at trading for one, knows is not good enough. And if they're not good enough to beat a Miami Dolphins team who's 2-7 with backups at cornerback, how do you expect to carry this team into the playoffs and win and get into the Super Bowl and win? I don't see how you're going to get through the rest of the schedule. The defense is really carrying you since they've gotten, since Sean McDermott has taken over, but now they continue to sustain ridiculous amounts of injuries. And at some point, you have to believe that the dam is going to crack. It cracked today. They did everything they could for 3 quarters of football. 3 quarters of football. They held the Dolphins to 16 points. Fourth quarter, the Bills still couldn't score. Dam broke wide open. There you go. Game over. Achane runs for almost 200 yards. That's what's going to happen. And when you talk about the Buccaneers and the Texans, who are a feisty defense, and the Steelers, who are a feisty defense, and the Bengals with weapons like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and then the Patriots who they've beaten. I mean, who's beaten them already this year, and then the defense in the Browns, and then the Eagles, and then the Jets. Last game, like, come on, man, like, you have to be real with yourself. Like, really, like, the Bills probably won't get out of this regular season. They probably won't make the postseason, man. If they keep on playing like this on offense, they're not gonna. I'll say it right now. Put this on my mama, man. On my mama. If the Buffalo Bills continue to play offensive football like this, they will miss the playoffs this year. What up, Augustine? Shout out, man. He says, yo, what up? I just left Rico and Bot and want to hear what you had to say about this awful loss, man. Well, you're getting an earful, buddy. I'm glad you're in here with me, man. An hour and 20 minutes in. Y'all smash that like, man, for your brother. I appreciate you guys hanging in here. I know it's getting late. Let me go through the comments here. It's just crazy, man. It really is. Augustine says, yo, they didn't give him what he truly needed. No, they didn't. Brandon Beane should have had a foresight. Once he traded and had gotten Stephon Diggs, he should have had a foresight. As that contract started to get closer and closer to the end, he should have been aggressive, man, whether in free agency or in the draft, in getting young wide receivers, man, at a high pick, not these 5th round draft picks and all that, and thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, he's the reason why we are where we are right now. It's Brandon Beane, and he's trying to fix his mistakes of the trade deadline for 2 years straight now. He did it last year with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper tried to create some of a kind of a spark because rookie Keon Coleman was not an X receiver. He's still not an X receiver. He is not that guy. But at least Cooper gave him a spark. My defense is somewhat pay attention to him. Didn't pan out. This year, they signed Joshua Palmer. He gets injured in the Falcons game. Maybe he's a key. But then you guess what? You lost Dalton Kincaid. But you really have nobody else. Shakir's not that guy. He's not going to beat man coverage. He's not. Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel. Please, man. You know, and then you talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Who they have right now? Jonathan Taylor. And you look at Danny Dimes, man, and that offense, which is on fire right now. Jeez, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Augustine comes in again and says, yo, Rev, man, we've been kicking the AFC East, and it just got a little harder because they tired of getting beat up. Yeah, the East is tired of getting beat up. They are. You expected them to close the gap. You did. Not the Dolphins. I mean, come on now. Like, with the Patriots, we expected it to kind of be a little bit more competitive with Drake May, who's fantastic. Who I think right now, and his projection right now, like right now, and this stage of his career right now as a second-year pro, better than Josh Allen was at this time of Josh's career. And he makes better decisions with the football than Josh does. Let's just be honest. He does. And him being paired with Josh McDaniels is a match made in heaven. He's only going to get better. He really is. That team, and they're in a good position too. I think cap-wise, look, they're going to be good for a long time. Like the years are over where you think the Bills are just going to run through the AFC East. This is not going to happen anymore. This is the Patriots division now. Like, the Patriots are getting that thing back. Sadly. But it is what it is. Until the Bills show otherwise, man, like that, like they're whatever. Anyway, I'm getting frustrated again. Let's check out another comment, man. Shout out to 9999 Deoxy says, yo, Rev, gotta say, Bills at this point will be fortunate to get a wild card spot. The Patriots are good again. Window for Josh is closing this year or next because May is already better. Well, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree right there. Shout out. I don't know what the heck just happened. Yo, chat. My whole background just like faded. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, like I was saying, like the Patriots are going to get better, right? And when you look at Drake May, like Drake May is at this stage in his career, like I mentioned, like he is better than he's better than what Josh was at this stage in his career. He really was. So you've got that combination with quarterback and OC, man, that's just dynamic. You wish Josh had that. He doesn't. Brian Daboll was the best thing he's had. He really was. I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. You look at him, says, yo, the Patriots next year they're $50 million under the cap. Next year, players will want to play with the Pats and Vrabel and May. Bills need to win the Super Bowl this year. That's facts. That's facts. The Patriots got tons of money, and when you look at that's what a lot of free agents are looking for. They're looking for stability in the organization, in the front office, and they're looking for, do you have a franchise quarterback who's good? The Patriots check off all of those boxes. They have the guy right now in Mike Vrabel. Then they got Josh McDaniels. That organization is solid. Then you added a guy like Drake May, who is phenomenal. They are going to attract so many free agents. And the fact that they have that much money in cap space going into next year is bananas to think. Like, they are going to load up and own this division. Like, at the Bill, like, that's why this year was the year for the Bills. If they're going to win it, they have to get it this year. They have to. Matt Goods comes in and says, yo, Josh Palmer, he's not that guy either. He may not be. I'm not saying that he's this one guy, wide receiver one, but we did see early in that Falcons game that he had developed some type of chemistry with Josh, where he would run the intermediate to deeper routes, and Josh was targeting him and almost crossing routes down the field. Him being gone, like, that part of the game, that part of the offense is non-existent. I think we saw maybe one play that last game against the Chiefs, and that was with Elijah Moore. It worked. We didn't see that this game against backup corners. So that goes again to the Joe Brady dilemma. Like this dude, like, I don't get it, man. He's so inconsistent. I just don't understand. But when you have to rely on players like that, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, oh gosh, dude, like it's slim pickings, man. It really is. It's so again, man, like, I hope I'm wrong. I do. I want nothing more than to be wrong. I really do. Because I'm a fan, and I've been a fan since I was a kid. That's never going to change. I'm not going to switch teams. It's not happening. All right? I'm not like some of these new fans now where they just follow players, and then wherever the players go, that's where they go. No, I'm loyal to my team, man. If Josh Allen ain't on this team no more, if Josh goes if he gets traded tomorrow or next year, I'm not saying peace out to the Bills and I'm going to follow where Josh goes. That's not me. I wish him the best. But I'm Buffalo Bills, man, over everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still a fan. I'm just an objective fan. And I'm a fan who tries to look at things for what they are, for at least from my perspective. And I try to remove some of my Bills homerism in my takes. Some people don't like it. They call it negativity. I call it me trying to be as objective as possible. And if I'm wrong, I have no problems admitting that I'm wrong. None whatsoever. None. I hope I'm wrong. But as I see it right now, the Bills are in trouble. They're in trouble. They're in trouble, especially on offense. We hope they can get some guys back healthy on defense, but they need to figure something out. Hopefully TJ Sanders can come back and they can generate some kind of interior pass rush now that Michael Hoyt is gone and Ed Oliver is going to be out for the rest of the season, the torn pec, though he may think that he's going to be back for the playoffs. If they make it, that's a long shot. So you're lacking there after what looked like, oh my gosh, this defense is back. We got Hoyt back. We got Ogunjobi here, man. We got Ed Oliver. We got Max Harrison. They go out and they show out in the Chiefs game. Well, the Panthers game, and then they back it up against the Chiefs, man. And I'm like, yo, and then all of a sudden, boom, dudes they get injured. Lose Ed Oliver. And then we lose Michael Hoyt to a terrible It's just man, unfortunate series of events, man, that's taking place. And the Bills are trying to overcome this. But even Sean McDermott said today in his presser, he's like, yo, like at the end of the day, you know, yeah, I believe in my guys and we're trying to do the best thing that we can and next man up. But like we keep losing players and that's no excuse, but you're going below. You keep going lower and lower and lower in the depth chart. And these guys are basically they're the second string, third strings for a reason. You coach them up, but you can't expect them to be like your starters, like starter level. You do the best you can, but it is what it is, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do. It's just sad. But when I'm looking at it right now, I just don't see no way out. And if they do get out, they're gonna have to come through and really climb out of this hole. And I know you're looking at like 6-3. What kind of a hole do they have to climb out of? They have to figure it out on offense. That's what it boils down to. They got to figure it out. And I don't know how much more they can figure out with who they have on the roster. At some point, it becomes a problem with personnel. You can try to scheme as much as you want, but if you don't have the personnel to compete, what do you expect to do? You can have the world's best offensive coordinator, but if you guys can't separate, Keon Coleman can't separate, Curtis Samuel can't separate, Elijah Moore can't separate, Khalil Shakir can't do anything besides a bubble screen, what do you expect to happen? You're going to see a frustrated Josh Allen week after week trying to carry this team on his shoulder, forcing balls and making mistakes and all this kind of stuff. And he's going to get tired, man. He's going to get tired. So that's where I am, man. You guys let me know how you feel. I don't want to keep on just beating a dead horse. But that's all. I just had to get that off my chest. And that's all I really have to say. So hopefully the Bills can kind of heal up, lick their wounds, and get back into it, back home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are looking to right some wrongs too, coming off of their loss against the New England Patriots. When you look at that division, like that division, NFC South is wide open for them. Like they have to be looking at it like, hey, right now they are. Where are they? I mean, they're first place in the South right now at 6-3. Like Carolina Panthers are next, and they're 5-5. So like the Bucks, they're probably just gonna walk in and win the division. But they still got a lot to play for. And you better believe that Baker Mayfield, man, with all his moxie, he's coming to Buffalo and he's gonna try to do something. So we'll see what happens next week, man. We really will. But shout out, man, to everybody who's been joining, man. I'm taking a look at it. I'm like, yo, Cammy Poo says, yo, yeah, but he keeps signing players that are always hurt, even when they were with other teams. Yeah, I mean, again, that's best Brandon Beane, man. That's what he does. He digs into the well. It's like he has a Rolodex of former players, and that's all he reaches out to. You know? So, I don't know. It is what it is. He's not getting a pass in my book for trying to go after Jalen Waddle, as if to think that the Miami Dolphins were really going to give you their guy without making you seriously pay for it. And even at that, they weren't going to do it. I just don't think that was going to happen. So, we'll see what happens. Till next time, baby. It's your man, Rev. Grace and peace, man. I'm trying not to be so down about my Bills, but I just don't feel it right now. They just got so much going on that it's just hard for me to truly believe that they're going to be able to do it this year. But I hope I'm wrong, man. I really hope I'm wrong. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's your man, Rev. You are tuned into the Raider Rev Show. I'll see you next week. Same time, baby, same place. Till then, God bless. And as always, baby, go Bills. I'm out. Let's get it.